It's all going down in Newcastle.
You don't want to miss this one.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
you get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.
And this is Johnny S. Scott for IFL TV, proudly sponsored by Everlast. I am with the number 4 ranked featherweight in the UFC, Mr. Arnold Allen. Arnie, how are you, mate?
Yeah, good, man. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, our pleasure. It's something a bit different. Obviously, there's been some big news in the boxing / MMA world this week. So it's great for you to jump on with us and have a chat about it. So yeah, let's get straight to it. Tyson Fury versus Francis Ngannou. What do you make of that fight?
Yeah, it's a mad old fight, isn't it? When you think Tyson is supposed to be lining up with like Usyk and that, but the kind of the way it unfolded and Usyk fighting Dubois, Josh fighting White, and him fighting Ngannou is probably the biggest upset of the whole thing in it. But obviously, as an MMA fighter, I'm happy for Francis Ngannou. He's gonna get that big spotlight, that big payday he's looking for. But yeah, I don't understand the motivation for Tyson for taking that fight. I don't understand why, other than money. I don't think he's gonna make more money there than he would to fight Usyk, right? So yeah, it's a bit mad.
Obviously, as you would have seen on social media, there's a fair amount of people are writing Ngannou off already, giving him just a puncher's chance. What do you make of his chances? Do you think he's got a bit of a better chance than people are probably giving him credit for?
Okay, yeah, he's got a puncher's chance. You know, he's a big bloke. He can hit hard, and you know what? He's probably his best chance is Tyson being complacent. You know, overlooking him and expecting nothing from him. You know, and I'm sure he will do that, but I don't think he. I'm sure he'd still do the job, but yeah, that's his biggest chance is Tyson being so complacent. You know, not respecting his power at all, and just expecting to run through him, which boxing wise I think he will. But yeah, that's it. You know, as an MMA fighter, I've sparred with like professional boxers in the past, and I've got out after them. They're sort of surprised that you can actually punch, sort of thing. It's like, you know, we are throwing punches at each other at the end of the day. So it's a different style. Obviously, we're a bit more bouncy on our feet, a bit more at further range because of the kicks and all that stuff. But when we get to sit down on our punches and stuff, it's a bit better. So we can let some power go and switch it up. But yeah, I don't think that small change in adjustment is going to be drastic enough for him to get a win there.
Do you think the gloves will have an effect on the fight? Obviously, Ngannou's used to fighting in much lighter gloves, whereas he's going to be wearing, well, a lot heavier gloves, which obviously you guys do in sparring. And then obviously when it comes to fighting, you wear the lighter ones. Do you think that'll have an effect?
Not really, but I think it's more mental, like more of a mental effect. On the guard for Tyson, it's a positive. Obviously, you can cover more with the guard. What are they, 10 ounce? 10 ounce they're finding? Yeah, 10 ounce. So you cover more of your body with the big gloves. But with the fours, you're kind of blocking like open hand. You can't really cover anything, to be honest. But on the other hand, I've always sort of thought I'd love to hit someone in 8 ounce gloves with like a big hand wrap on, you know. With the MMA gloves, we get them wrapped and up, you know, they cut the palm open, everything's small. The wrap is only as big as you can fit in a 4 ounce glove, which is nothing. So you don't have the security of that big sort of wrap, and it's all laced up and secure and locked in. And I've had my hands wrapped and put in 8 ounce gloves for boxing match, and I feel like I could punch through a wall. So yeah, I think I'd rather hit people in 8 ounce gloves, to be honest, with my flimsy hands anyway.
You touched on it briefly there about sparring professional fighters. Obviously, you recently fought Max Holloway, who, to MMA fans, a lot of people in the business believe he is one of the best boxers technically in the UFC. How did those professional boxers compare to fighting Max?
Some of the lads I was sparring with, they just sort of it just made me feel lost, to be honest, sometimes. Uh, yeah, just certain levels, and it's just, yeah. Thinking I'm on that level and then working with these guys, and then it just feel like every little shoulder feint they do, you have to react big to it, and even sparring and doing a round where you're throwing like 4 or 5 punches, but you come out at the end of the round, and I've reacted to everything that guy's thrown, so it's a different game. Max is he's very good boxer, but like in an MMA term, like if you put him straight boxing, I don't think his boxing would be that like elite in a boxing world. His timing is weird. He has a strange he throws like a 1-2, but it's more of like two punches at the same time, if you know what I mean. It's weird. He's like offbeat. That's like the trickiest thing about him.
Yeah, and obviously, like you said, then I mean, there's more and more fighters now going from MMA into boxing. Obviously, the biggest one to date is, of course, McGregor versus Mayweather. You
Yeah.
could probably say Nate Diaz versus Jake Paul's also one. And
Yeah.
obviously Ngannou. Do you think we're going to see this trend continue, or do you think it'll get to the point where people just stop bothering with it?
I don't know. I like to box, to be honest. I'd like to have a go, but yeah, it's who is it? Kamaru Usman, yeah, ex-UFC world. He was asking to fight Canelo, and it was like, come on, man, you ain't gonna go after Canelo, like you ain't. Other than for money, which I mean, I'd be all for a payday. I get it, but yeah, it'd be nice to see someone want to do it and take on someone like realistic, like maybe more of a domestic level and try and build their way up to see what they could do. But that'd be interesting. But I don't know. Everyone wants that jump, don't they? Which I get.
What about the other way around? Maybe obviously Holly Holm was a very successful boxer and kickboxer, and she obviously came into the UFC and did really well. Do you think
Yeah.
boxers could do that nowadays?
Yeah. It depends what sort of part of your career you're in, I think. Because I started MMA after doing a little stint in amateur boxing as a junior. So when I first went I was a teenager, like 14, 15, after my sort of amateur spell, and I was doing the grappling and just like I had no idea what was going on. I was getting choked out left, right, and center. And yeah, it was pissing me off as well. It was like really, really a humbling experience. But I feel like if I'd boxed for, say, another 10 years on top of that, and then went to do the grappling and got my ass handed to me every day, I think it would be hard to swallow that. It'd be hard to try and improve, and it's very hard to get out of the game. So, and it's a complete different range. It's a complete different. You kind of have to open your stance up a little bit to block the kicks. You have to be a little bit wider with your guard because the gloves don't really cover much on the defense. So you have to use frames and be a bit longer than you would in boxing. It's a big mentality shift, I think.
So would you say it's more a case of mental instead of physical when it comes down to the crossover?
Yeah. I think just letting because you spent years and years drilling in like certain styles, and then you kind of have to unravel all that to do something else,
Do you believe we will ever see it where someone of a high level in MMA comes over to boxing and actually beats someone of an equally as high level? Because obviously, most MMA fighters, in fact, well, probably say all, they can box to a certain level. So
Yeah.
they do know what they're doing. But do you
Yeah.
think they can come into boxing to the point where you get a boxer thinking, wow, like, what is this? Because obviously they're so technically different. They're showing angle, they're doing moving angles, they're showing different shapes where it's not just a puncher's chance. Do you think that can happen?
Same level, I don't know. So I think I looked at it last time. It was someone like that was equivalent to my weight in 145 pounds, so what, 66 kilo. I think ranked the same as Ugas. And I was like, yeah, I probably couldn't take Ugas, to be honest. But yeah. So I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough ask. And I don't know if it'll ever happen. Unless that guy purely like come from a boxing background, big amateur career, some pro career, and then he mainly been boxing, wrestling, maybe. think Terence Crawford wrestled apparently. So that's he was like a high school wrestler, good level, I think.
Yeah,
Hmm.
his son, he's one of his younger sons. He's a wrestler. I think he's
Yeah,
only
yeah.
10, 11, but apparently he's
Hmm.
pretty good. So
Yeah. Man,
yeah,
wrestling's a tough sport. Like the actual like being out here in Canada wrestling with some of the guys that wrestle, man, it is tough. It's hard work.
yeah, I suppose the wrestling standard out there, is it a lot better than it is back in the UK?
Yeah, yeah. There's just higher access to better wrestlers and yeah, yeah,
More bears out there to wrestle as well, isn't there?
literally. Literally that.
So that's to finish off. What's next for you? What's next in the UFC for you? Obviously, you had that Max defeat, but the featherweight division's on fire at the moment. Obviously, Ilya Tapora,
Yeah.
Volkanovski
Yes.
is unbelievable at the moment as well. What's
Yeah.
next for you?
Just healing off a few injuries. Gonna try and get back in towards the end of the year and try and get back in that sort of title mix, you know. Hopefully a win over someone. I'm currently ranked 4, so if there's someone 2 or 3 available, that'd be nice. But yeah, we'll see. We'll see.
If you could pick one person to fight next, who would that be?
I did ask for Ortega, but he's apparently he's out injured for a long while, so I'm out injured for a while, but hopefully not that long. So
All right, Arnie, that was great. It was lovely to speak to you, and I'm sure we'll definitely have you on the channel again. It looks like this trend's going to continue, so it'll be great
yeah,
to
yeah.
get your opinion on some of the fights coming up.
Nice one, mate. Yeah, of course, it'd be good.
Brilliant. Cheers, Arnie.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
It's all going down in Newcastle.
You don't want to miss this one.
Join us for the very first IFL Live at London's Indigo at the O2, Sunday, August the 13th, with me, Kugan Cassius, and some very special guests. Eddie Hearn, Darren Barker, Johnny Fisher, and more. Tickets now on sale. So in the words of Eddie Hearn,
You get up, you dress up, and you fucking show up.